If you all weren't aware, today we're going to have a very special guest on our tour that will give you all most of it, and that is our president, Dr. Gary Ransdell. We're so proud to have him with us today. Thank you.
Well, welcome to WKU. So a few weeks ago, the Office of Admissions called and said, hey, can you do a tour someday before school starts? Oh, of course, cool. So, well, people know that I'm going to be doing this, and they said, well, maybe, maybe not, we don't know. So, welcome. Good to have you here. The reason that we begin our campus tours in an alumni center is because we think that's the best way for an individual and their first impression of this university to come in a place called an alumni center, because this is not a decision that you would make for 4 years. You would be members of the class of 2020, but a decision to come here is a decision that will be part of your life forever. We have over 100,000 alumni, and the passions that they have 10, 20, 30, 40, in my case 44, 42 years after graduation, is just as rich and just as strong and just as passionate at that point in their life as it is when they complete that degree or when you first enroll. We want that to be a message sent from the very beginning that this is a lifelong identity, and it's important for those emotions to be part of your university experience. We want this just a place to go, get a degree, move on, forget about it. This is a place that has great meaning and great energy and emotion, and that's kind of a definitive part of our personality as a university. So that's why we started campus tours in our alumni center. Okay, we're obviously going up the hill. Downtown Bowling Green is behind us, maybe 3 or 4 blocks back this way. So our campus is very connected to downtown Bowling Green, and our students are back and forth a lot and interact with downtown Bowling Green. But Bowling Green is a town of about 60,000 people, with every restaurant imaginable to people anywhere in this community. So it's a community that the university contributes about $500 million a year to the local economy, and it's very much a college town in a great collegiate atmosphere. So we're getting ready to go in, kind of the primary entrance to the campus. Another one of our fraternity houses over here. This is Cherry Hall, named after our founding president. It opened in 1936. That's our founding president standing in front there, made out of bronze. Interesting little building here, this little log cabin. I thought about doing this, but I'm not sure it would work quite so well today. But in the 1930s, we had a blight, and it killed a lot of cedar trees on campus. So the president at the time asked our students to stay over one summer to take those dead cedar trees and build our first student center. And that was the first student center on campus in the 1930s, built by students over one summer. So I thought about next time we want to build a building, getting our students to stay over for the summer and help us build a building. But I figured that probably wouldn't. Yeah, there are probably some OSHA standards or something. But our basketball arena, the statue out front is Ed Diddle. He was our coach for 42 years. When he retired in 1963, he was the winningest coach in the history of college basketball at 742 wins. No coach in the history of the game had ever won that many games at a single institution, or period, any number of institutions. And so this building is named before him, and he's the guy who made the Red Cow famous. And he would, in fact, there's a story in the 1930s that the players were walking off with the white towels from that belonged to the basketball team, and so he got all fixed that, so he dyed them red. And so obviously I think our players started coming up with pink skin after drying off or whatever. But anyway, that's how the red towel was born, and it became synonymous with our spirit, and now it goes it's a symbol of things far more than just athletics. It's a symbol of our heart, our spirit, our determination, our ambition. But it was made famous by that gentleman right there. So we're very fortunate that our athletic facilities, football, basketball, are right here in the middle of campus. And it's an important part of our whole campus experience. It's not the thing, but it's a dynamic that we want our students to enjoy and be part of, and have to build that energy and spirit that that defines us. So of all the restaurants in this building, this is probably one that's not a branded concept that you may have heard of, but it's our all-you-can-eat fresh food company, is what we call it. And if you're on a meal plan, and I would presume most of you would be, even if you're a commuter student, we encourage your students to get a meal plan. But it's all you can eat. There is no kitchen. Everything's prepared right in front of you. You go up and you tell them what you want, and there are stations all around here so you might have a dozen different options of what type of, whether you just want a salad, or whether you want Mongolian, or whether you want roast beef, or whether you want burgers, or whatever. A lot of options in here, and it's something different all the time, but it's very fresh, prepared right in front of you, as much as you want, whatever you want. It's about 1979, our basketball coach, because we didn't really have a mascot, our basketball coach challenged us to create a mascot, so we tried a couple things. We tried a topper, a fellow with a red tuxedo on the top hat that came. It was kind of a bust. It lasted one game. Then the next game we rolled out a guy with a coonskin cap and a long rifle and buckskin and steel topper. That was kind of a stretch. So a student in one of our fraternities worked in the summers at Kings Island in Cincinnati. And so I was actually one of the guys. I was working the Office of International Relations at the time. I was one of the two guys that our basketball coach challenged to come up with the mascot. So we went to this guy and I said, okay, you work at Kings Island. Who do you play? I mean, because I knew he was a character. Have you ever heard of Captain Caveman on Saturday morning cartoons? Some of your parents may. I don't think Captain Caveman is on anymore. But Captain Caveman was a Hanna-Barbera cartoon character. And this student was Captain Caveman at Kings Island, like Disney characters that walk around the park and all that. So he said, well, let me give that some thought. So we went out to the store in town, bought red fur and chicken wire, and we made the first Big Red. And he introduced it at a basketball game, busted out the Christmas package on the last home game before Christmas break, because we were really afraid that this was really going to be a bust. We want people to forget about it over the Christmas holidays. The guy who played the first Big Red made the personality. He ran up and down the aisles. Big Red can eat things, can eat a basketball and it disappears. And so all of a sudden the crowd went nuts, the crowd roared, and we knew we clicked. And so for the last 30 years, almost 35 years, the Big Red has become an icon in American higher education. One of only 4 collegiate mascots in the National Mascot Hall of Fame. A fixture on ESPN commercials. Every year is in the Capital One Bowl Mascot Challenge. So Big Red is really a unique, and it's uniquely WKU, created by a student and nurtured by our students, and so that's kind of the story of Big Red. And when you're the Hilltoppers, it's not like you're a lion, a tiger, or a bear, or whatever. So that's Big Red, and that's how Big Red was created.
Everybody right here on the count of 3, all right? You can see me, I can see you, all right?
We're just coming in to watch you play.
Watch me hit the balls around.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
And so this is just a recreation area, open. I don't know if it's 24/7, but the reason that it's over here is because this does have a separate entrance, so this can be open at all hours, and the whole building doesn't have to be open just so students can come and use the recreation areas. And actually, the wood in this building here and on this countertop, in the original version of this building, there were bowling alleys. But students today, bowling, no big deal. So we took the bowling alleys out and replaced them with student meeting rooms and ballrooms and a lot of stuff upstairs. But we recycled the wood from the lanes in the bowling alleys that were on the 4th floor of this building 40 years ago. The Guthrie Tower was built about 12 or 14 years ago by a family in our community. He owns a major business in town, a die casting business, and actually the son of the patriarch of the Guthrie family is Brett Guthrie, our congressman from the 2nd Congressional District in Kentucky. But this tower was built to commemorate this gentleman right here, whose name is Robert Guthrie, who was killed in Korea in 1952, the Korean War. And he's the brother of the father of the Guthrie family. And so the family wanted to do something to commemorate commemorates Robert Guthrie. So this statue is Robert Guthrie, again, killed in battle in Korea. So this whole tower is all about duty, honor, country. And it's I was delighted when the family wanted to do this, because it's a statement about that important value in our nation where military service matters, and protecting our freedoms. And there are engravings on each of these benches with different people that statement about the importance of duty, honor, country. And so the Guthrie Tower has kind of become a campus landmark. And if you haven't already picked up, we can just barely see the top of it over that building. We'll ride by it again, but a lot of cupolas on campus. This cupola is an exact replica of the cupola on top of Cherry Hall on the top of the hill, and variations of that cupola exist half a dozen places around campus. So that's kind of our architectural feature that's kind of definitively WKU. So this is Media Technology Hall, and a few things about this building. It's the home of our School of Journalism and Broadcasting. It also has a 24-hour computer lab right over here that's obviously in use. So this is open at all times for students to use. Not always do you have what you need if you have a laptop or an iPad or whatever, but everything you need technology-wise is here. In fact, our Office of Information Technology is in this building that serves the technology needs of the entire campus, all of our faculty, staff, and students. But School of Journalism and Broadcasting, print, photo, and broadcast journalism, galleries and our radio broadcast studios are up this way. Our television broadcast studios are back this way, and we just passed them in the academic complex, actual broadcast studios for WKYU TV. But I gotta kind of stop and brag on the building with the coolest name on campus, right over here. That houses our College of Education, elementary education, secondary education, counselor, our Doctor of Education program. All of our education disciplines are in Ransdell Hall. And somebody was asking about a cupola a while ago. Well, that's a cupola. It's a little different version of the one on the tower on Cherry Hall. So this is what we call the South Lawn. This is just our playground. This is just students that's wide open. And I'm really looking forward to getting rid of that building and expanding it. But on game days, this is Tailgate Central, and you know, when you're located on a hill and you got your green space is very precious, and we have a lot of trees, but nothing's ever going to be built here. And if my successor ever does, I'm going to haunt them from the grave, because this is special ground for our students to just enjoy. It's kind of a campus front yard, and I'm looking forward to expanding it in that direction. Thank you. Nice to see you all. See you, man. All right.